Welcome into Snow the Goalie, everybody. It is the Flyers' penultimate game here against the New Jersey Devils. Flyers trailing in the playoffs, but really we're not here for that right now. We'll get to that after. We are here with the man of the hour, the man of the weekend, longtime Philadelphia Flyer, Wayne Simmonds, one of the truly great guys. I've been around in the game, a great Philadelphia Flyer. And Simmer, first of all, thanks for coming here. And tell us what this means to you. I mean, it's really, it doesn't happen to a lot of players. Where you get saluted right at the end of your career, but this has got to be an amazing feeling.
Thank you guys for having me, first of all. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it's been awesome. Just being able to bring my children and show them Philadelphia. None of them were born when I played here. My wife was pregnant with our oldest when I got traded, so it's been special for me to bring them here and show them what Philadelphia is all about, because this city and this organization, means a lot to me, and they treated me unbelievable. So it's an honor.
It's been like just coming right back to like everything came back to you? A lot of stuff comes flooding back in.
Yeah. It's been there's been a lot of reminiscing and seeing a lot of people that I've seen, meeting up with friends and stuff like that. That I've had in the city for a long time. So the last couple of days have been truly amazing.
Now, you're going to get to do something that not a lot of people get to do. And we could say this, I think, because it's not, by the time this airs, it won't be that big of a deal. But you're going to drop the puck. What do you anticipate that feeling is going to be like going, coursing through your veins when you have all those fans screaming for you when you're out there?
I'm a little bit nervous right now. I haven't been this nervous in a long time. My palms are sweating. I'm constantly rubbing them on my jeans, but it's going to be a great feeling. I know. It's going to be an unbelievable feeling to have the fans going crazy.
I tell you what, and I'm going to say this. I think it's going to be one of the loudest receptions we've seen here in this building. Anthony, I know we have Wayne beforehand, and we're going to embarrass him a little bit here right now. But you know what? That's what you get when you do what you did for this city, for this team, and this crest for as long as you did, Simmer. I got to tell you a quick story, and you probably didn't even realize it at the time. I went through my own personal recovery from alcohol at the end of my career. And when I turned into broadcasting, especially when I went to TV, I was alone in a lot of ways, and I think there's not a lot of players that realize when you make a transition to something different than what you're comfortable with. That was different for me, asking questions. I'm probably better at it now because I've just done it for so long. But I wanted to thank you for you being there for me all the time. And I'd look down the bench. It was a rough period, and they'd say, who do you want? I'd say, I'm just going to get Simmer. I trusted you. You gave honesty to the people every time. And for me, knowing that I needed that one guy that would be my right-hand dude to go to. You were my go-to guy, and I can't thank you enough for that. It was so meaningful to me at a time that I was struggling, and just coming to the game some nights was difficult, but I can't thank you enough for that, Simmer.
Honestly, Bundy, it means a lot, especially coming from somebody like you. Like you said, you don't realize, the impact you have on a lot of lives. And for me, I think just talking to people over the last few days, the impact I did have, in Philadelphia, I didn't really, the gravity of it, I never really understood until now. It kind of chokes me up because it's crazy. It's like you don't think about it, right? And then you're so focused on your game and winning and everything like that, and I kind of just went about what I did because it's just who I am as a person, right?
Yeah, and that speaks volumes about you. That's why I try to say there's a great hockey player. There's an amazing competitor. Drop his gloves, take hits, give hits, score big goals. But there's a greater person in there, and that's why I was so adamant about having you up here. We could not have you here. For Anthony, for Guy, for what you've done for everyone. You've touched every person, Simmer, and I really, you've been one of the great Flyers. And I'll say, I have people say, who are your two of your favorite Flyers? Mark Howe and Wayne Simmonds. And that may be hard for you from a guy 14 years older, but you know what? You embodied and personified what this city is. And I think I speak for the entire city, certainly our Snow the Goalie community, when I say that.
Thank you. It's extremely humbling, because for me, where I came from and, what I had to battle through to even get here, it's crazy to me. So honestly, Bundy, I really appreciate your words. It means a lot.
Simmer, I don't have that personal story that Bundy has because I was covering the team for a lot of years before you even got here. But I can say this, that from a media perspective, it's very similar because, we have our crutches too. Mm-hmm. Like guys that were like, who are we going to talk to after this game? Right? And you were always available. Like it didn't matter if you were getting treatment, you would come out. Like you were always there and always willing to talk to us. So like that's kind of a, for us, that's kind of a big deal too.
No, I always felt like you have to be present. You have to be accountable for, whatever's going on, whether good or bad. So I think that's just the way I was raised. My parents raised me that way, to be accountable. And if things are going bad, you got to answer for it. If things are going good, you speak as well, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words.
No, I mean, it's a great night, and I'm so happy for you. But, I was going to say something like, so welcome to the alumni.
Thank you.
It's probably
Thank you.
everyone hates hearing that when you're done, but I got it too. Welcome to the alumni. I'm like, really? So we're here. But what is after life? What does after hockey look for you? You got to see your beautiful young family,
Yep.
your wife in the pictures. What does that look like for you territorially? I mean, you're going to look for jobs, stay in the game.
Yeah, hopefully I can get a job here.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But right now I've just been at home, stay-at-home dad. Honestly.
They gave me a job, Simmer, so I'm sure they'll find one for you, pal.
Yeah, I've just been a stay-at-home dad. Taking the kids to school, picking them up from school, and I've really enjoyed it. It's you're not always with your family when you're playing, right? You're home for a couple of days and then you're gone, and it's like you don't even really know them. So it's been a more of an introduction. I honestly, God, my youngest daughter, I felt like we didn't even have like a unbelievable connection or anything like that when I was done my career. And then last year when we lost out in playoffs, we had like a program, like a system. Like I take her to the park every single day, and like our bond grew so much. And it's meant so much to me. And now we've got a 4-month-old son. He's turning 5 months soon in a couple of days, and to be able to be home with them and see them, all the time, and not having to do these FaceTimes and stuff like that, it's been great.
Simmer, there'd be nothing greater for us, I know, than have you working here with the team and some faculty.
And look, we know Jonesy and Dan Hilferty watch this thing, right?
Yes.
Guys, get them in here.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get
Like,
'em
I
in
mean
here.
it, too.
Absolutely.
We need another guest other than LeClaire and Berube, so we'd love to have Simmer on standby.
Now, you mentioned being nervous for tonight, palms being sweaty. I'm going to give you something. I found out that there's something else that you might have to be nervous about. This team is, Flyers are still trying to claw their way into the playoffs. You're reading the starting lineup in the locker room tonight, yeah?
Yeah, I got to figure out what I'm going to say. I got to pump the boys up, right?
Fire them up, Simmer.
We need the rest of these points, every single one that we can get, so we can make this playoffs, right? So, for me, it'll be a little bit different, obviously, going in there. And I know, like, being a leader on the team in the past, like, it's easy to speak in front of guys that you go to war with all the time, right? But when you don't know them, like, on a personal level, I think it's a little bit harder, and I think that's when the nerves come in.
I have one last question. Style of play.
Yep.
You were probably one of the guys that transcended the last generation to this one, and you may be the last of its kind in a lot of ways. Do you see that? I know you still see some fighting, like Rempe comes in, but in terms of the guy that is that total team defender that can play, you don't see those guys a lot anymore, Wayne.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The skill in this league it's through the roof, and that's probably why I'm not playing anymore.
Lacking the combo, though, right?
Yeah, but you don't see a lot of, like you said, there's not a lot of dual guys that go out there, score a lot of goals, or and at the same time, fight for their teammates. So I came up obviously in an era where that's what it was.
Yeah,
everybody did it. And then there was no questions asked. Everybody did it. Right?
Whether you liked it or not.
Yeah, exactly. You had no choice. I remember it was my first year or second year in LA, and I was doing a little bit of fighting, but there was one time something happened, and Sean O'Donnell came up to me, and he's like, "I can't fight everybody, Simmer." And he literally looked at me, and he's like, you can fight. You can. He's like, "I need a little bit of help here." And honestly, ever since then, that was like in my brain. That was engraved in my brain, and I lived it. So
best playoff memory here for you. And we'll let you go after this.
Oh, I have one more.
You got one more?
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
Best playoff memory, hat trick against the New York Rangers.
I love it.
To send it to Game 7. That was my best memory.
That was the back-to-back night, right?
Yeah,
We played the next night again.
So
Yeah.
we got on the train and we flew. I should have saved a couple goals for that next game, but yeah.
You had an empty netter in that series too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So that was I know. Every time I put on that jersey, it was special for me.
But Bundy's got a memory like a steel trap. He remembers everything. The last question I wanted to ask you, and I think this is kind of important to kind of get to, one of the things that you did when you were here, you were very involved with the Ed Snyder Youth Hockey Foundation. You remain on their board, which is pretty incredible since you haven't been here for several years, right? What does that program mean to you, and why was it important for you to stay involved with it even after you were done playing for the Flyers?
It was extremely important for me. I saw a lot of kids who looked like me and came from situations like mine when I was younger, right? So I think when representation, I think, it means a lot in this game, right? And I think when you extend yourself, to kids who don't know that they actually have an opportunity to do what you do, it's extremely important to to be there and be present and show up and let them know that not only is this going to be for you, but you can excel at what you're doing.
That's awesome.
Simmer, you're the best, buddy. We love you. Super proud for you today.
Thank you.
Would be cheering for you up here when I see you, that puck on the ice, and for you and your family. And this means he's a mainstay now, right?
Mainstay.
You're now an official member of Snow the Goalie.
You got a future. You got a future in podcasting. There you go.
Simmer, have a great night, buddy.
Thank
we
you,
love
guys.
you, and have an unbelievable time. I'm expecting a monster crowd smash tonight for you, buddy.
No, it's going to be
well
really
deserved.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Good
Wayne.
stuff.